Hello, this is Kat again. It's my channel, Speak Truth to Lies. This is the second part of my audio blog. Step 2, reality hits. So back to Friday, June 1st. I made phone calls to ensure that when I got home from rehab, I could not get any more pills. Next, I had to pack a bag with enough clothes for a couple of weeks, toiletries, and such. I went to Walmart to pick up some things and broke down crying in the toothpaste aisle. I made one more phone call and went to see a good friend. This friend and his wife had both been to rehab. But before we started talking, I asked him for one last pill, explaining to him that he had every right to tell me no, but that in all honesty, I cannot think straight through the level of crying and hysteria I was now feeling to get anything done. I'm not sure why he said yes and gave me one. Maybe because he had been in my position at some point and understood what I was going through. Before I left, he gave me the best piece of advice that would later prove to be true. He said, when you get there, at some point, the gravity of how you ended up there will hit you like a Mack truck. And when it does, you will want to leave. Don't. I had no idea how prophetic this piece of advice would be. I went home, took my last pill. Within a half an hour, the tears started to subside, my head cleared, and I started packing. After getting my stuff together, I had one more thing to do: ask for help with my son, who would still have 2 weeks of school left. So I went across the street to my neighbor, Tammy, who had watched my son in the past, and told her what was going on and asked her if she would watch him the next morning when my husband took me to Brighton. My son being there with us would have only made it harder for me to stay. She immediately hugged me and told me she would love to and that she was proud of me. She also agreed to watch him after school until my husband got home from work. June 2nd was a Saturday, and coincidentally, my husband and I's 7-year wedding anniversary. It was one of the longest 1-hour drives of my life. The sense of heaviness that I felt was unlike anything I'd experienced. My husband drove, and all I could think of was how very disappointed he must have been. When we got there, the fear set in on whether or not I made the right decision, and then I realized how foolish that thought was. They did a health screening and drug test, and then I had to turn over my phone. Once check-in was complete, I had to say goodbye to my husband, and it hit me this would be the first time since my boy had been born that I would not be putting him to bed. I told him I loved him, and he left. They did not take me straight to my room. I got a tour of the facility, a binder full of activities that would take up my time while there, including group sessions, individual sessions, classes. The sole purpose was to keep you busy and out of your head, because for an addict, that is where the problem lies. My first group session was that evening. And as I sat there listening to everyone share their stories, some including selling themselves, their belongings, getting arrested, and so on, all I could think of was, I'm nothing like these people. I've never done any of these things. I've never been arrested or sold myself for drugs. But as I continued to listen, it became very clear that I did have something in common with them: pain. We all had pain in common. And more importantly, an inability to manage pain in a meaningful and effective way. Our way was self-destructive. We destroyed everything and everyone around us, most of all, ourselves. You see, broken people hurt people. As the day came to an end, I was escorted to the room I would be spending the next 2 weeks in. My bags were already there. You see, they must go through them to make sure you are not trying to smuggle anything in. After they left, I looked around at the small room and the small bed with a plastic mattress, and I dropped to my knees and I cried. Because in that moment, it hit me. Every bad decision I had made had led me here. Once I calmed down, I did my best to make the bed comfortable and put my things in their places to make me feel like I had some semblance of control. I called my baby to say goodnight, and I cried myself to sleep.
Yes, it's hard reading these. It's like reliving it all over again, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Until next time.